So some of the conquestors and I are going to start making videos on how we're doing some of our stuff, just to kind of show people how easy it really can be to make cosplay or accessories or props or whatever be it. So I decided that now is a great time, since I actually want to make a new wig for some of my kimonos and stuff when I just want to kind of casually, dress up and have fun. And I already have a bright pink one, so I'm going to go with the purple one today. So first up is to pick the wig you want to use for the project. And then put it on a head former. I use a nice styrofoam one because I always like to make sure it's secure, and styrofoam is easier because you just shove the things in there and it gets nice and secure. So you secure it. These are actually really easy to get if it's around Halloween and there are Value Villages around, because almost always Value Village gets a whole bunch of these for like $1 to $2. So I would stock up when they come around because it's just nice to have a bunch. So you get that set up. Make sure you have your wig stand, scissors in case you need either cut some hair, cut things, props. Get whatever accessories you want. Since I'm doing a kimono one, I've got some really bright colored things, doodads. I don't know what I'm going to use until I actually start. I mean, I know the base. I always use flowers. I've got some flowers and stuff. But I always have the main things and a couple small things in case I need to fill in spots or, whatnot. So you get all of your stuff together that you want to work with. Whatever be it, I always say use extra stuff, have extra stuff on hand, because when you start working, it may only want a couple of things on it. You may only want to, you never know. It's nice to have a little extra at the start so you don't have to run out and buy stuff as you're doing it. And you can just sit down and work on it from start to finish. I also use combs in case I want to tease or brush it out. So you want those on hand, whatever you use as a base to hold in place, whatever pieces you use. Where did I put that up? I always keep a container full of bobby pins on hand up too, because I use a lot of them to hold pieces in place. And then I normally end up just gluing stuff on top of that so you never even see them. Once you get another thing, you need your hot glue gun. Make sure it's plugged in, make sure it's warm. Glue sticks are in. Once you get all of that set up and you have your workstation set up, it is time to do the sacred dance to the costuming gods. You start your music, you grab the gourd, you put it on your head, you dance. Alright, now we assume the cosplay gods are appropriately appeased and ready for you to perform your quest for the perfect hair. Let me adjust the camera lower, as I normally end up working with it lower. I normally hold it like this when I'm working in it. It makes it easier for me to look down, control, do what I need. Because it's on a head, I mean, it's really hard to just leave it on a table unless you actually have something set up on the table. And you just, which I really think I should. You could always easily, if you're going to do a lot of this, screw something into a table, a screw you can just set the base on. I prefer to have it right here so I can work with it, but some people like to have a space where they just put the head on it and work on it from there. So I think I'm going to start. Actually, let's see if I can do this like this right now so it's easier for you guys to see. Sorry as I adjust the camera. Here we go. So I want half of the hair down for what I'm working on today. I'm not actually teasing the hair today because of what I'm working on. I will do another video showing you how I tease the hair when I decide to do something with more of a poof. So you just kind of separate the hair depending upon how much you want, lower or higher, and you just kind of shape it a little bit as you go. If you want more or less. I'm not going to be talking a whole lot as I'm doing this, but you can see what I'm doing. because it's going to be a kimono hair wig, and I normally do shorter, more anime style ones, I am not making it super perfect even. I want it a little messy. The reason I like to use these combs is because when it gets a knot, these parts are really good to just kind of pull through and pick it out without destroying your wig. Now, one thing to keep in mind, I'm not teasing this one because I'm gluing a bunch of things, but you'll end up with a lot of sometimes stuff showing through if you're not adding things like I am. And to kind of prevent that, you can tease the undersides here and kind of here to kind of raunch it up and bush it up and make it thicker and fuller so that you don't really see as much of that. And if you tease it enough, you can always make a bigger puff ball in one area and just kind of glue it down and over. If I ever do one where I'm doing that, I will make sure I make a video of that so you guys can see that as well. Or you can just kind of play around with it with a couple of test wigs, like some really crappy ones you can't really... I mean, I really feel like you can save almost any wig, but there are those wigs that are extremes. Or you can just get a cheap Halloween wig that you know you just horrible feeling hair that you know you can never use for anything, like Value Village or something, for really cheap. And just kind of play around with those to get a feel for how it responds and what it looks like. So when I did that, I'm going to sit here and style it like any normal hair. Remember, most wigs are pretty much essentially work like normal hair in some situations. You can twist it, you can style it, you can swirl it. You can do just about anything you can do to real hair to a wig. If it's heat resistant, you can use heat, hot rollers, and whatnot to set it. I did a French twist type deal. And I'm using one of the comb claws. Get in there. Just kind of shove it through like you would in a normal one. Voila, I've got the base I'm starting with. I may tuck this up here and glue it in so you won't actually see what I have there. Actually, I don't know. I kind of like that little tail sticking out. Normally you can do that to cover it up. I kind of like the tail sticking out and the little extra hair. I think it gives it some flair with this particular piece that I'm working on. The possibilities are endless. That's what I like working with wigs. You can do so much with them, and it's so much easier than working with actual real hair. All right, so I have the base. I'm going to flip this hair up here for now so that it doesn't really just fall over as I'm doing this, since I'm not using my legs to kind of hold it down like I normally would. Give me a second. I need to figure out how to secure this so it doesn't. There we go. That works. All right. I want to kind of create a kimono, very Asian inspired look. So I have some cherry blossoms and some irises. I think I even have an orchid over here. So let's see what I can do. First, you kind of pluck your flowers. And you just kind of place them where you want them. Since I have a nice piece of black of this holder sticking through, I'm going to stick that there. Actually, before I do that, I think I need to put a little glue in here to make sure that the thing I use to put my hair in place stays in place. You just kind of hold that down for a few. You don't always have to. Sometimes you do with bobby pins. Normally you end up gluing down the hair where the bobby pins are and then putting stuff over it with like a poof, just to make sure that the hair really stays for as long as you keep the wig and keep a very strong bond of stuff. There we go. Don't freak out. It's going to look a little weird and you're going to see some glue and stuff on it. It doesn't matter because at the end of the day, you can cover it up with stuff. All right, so start with a couple of sakura flowers. Got pink and white here to work with. Something kind of mild, pretty colors to offset the wig. I put a little glue at the base of the flower here. And I just kind of stick it in and hold. And since the pink kind of blends in nicely and softly with the wig, I think I'm going to put another one right next to it in white, so it kind of helps it stand out a little. Picking your colors is always important, how much you want to stand out or how soft you want the look to be. I'm going for a slightly softer look that kind of stands out. I want it to look kind of sweet. I do have some brighter accessories to kind of help it pop a little, if I feel like it. But yeah, kind of put two there together. Gives it a nice soft something. I'm going to put a nice big orchid over here to cover up the spot where I have the little hair clip. It kind of blends with the hair, but it gives it a little something. Like I said, I want everything to kind of blend with the hair for the most part. I want a slightly less over the top and more understated, soft look for this wig. So it's just a matter of placement at this point, what you want to do. Let's see how this looks. And a lot of it is just testing. Taking different things, putting it in a little, seeing how it looks. I like this, but I want a softer look. And this is very big, so I think I'm going to pass on this one today. I will use it on something. Maybe I'll make a Totoro hat. But no, I will use this for something else today. It's okay if you don't use all the products. You don't have to use everything you have to make something. You can always hold back and use them for something else in the future. You don't have to use all of the pieces you even got to work on this one that you start with. Trying to turn this. You see what I'm doing over here. Once again, a little glue at the base. You can glue it, put as much or as little as you want, depending upon how much you want. If you want it to stick fully down, you put it up on here and you push. If you want it to kind of come up a little and look like it's popping out, you only put a little at the base and you place it where you want it. If you mess something up, you get glue on something, it's cool. Don't freak out. It may not be what you wanted, but you can always find ways to cover it up. Say I got a huge piece of glue right here. Guess what? You can just take a little heart, pop it on there. You don't see the glue anymore, and there's a cute little heart there. It may not have been your original vision, but it's cute. And this rule of thumb, if you don't tell people it's a mistake, they won't know the difference. They'll think it's intentional. You could take a heart. You could take I like to work with feathers. I know there's a lot of vegans, so if you do have a problem with feathers, you can use things like I said, the heart or whatnot. You could use a feather. I personally do want one over the top piece or two, something to stand out and dangle. So I'm going to add this right here. Once again, for anyone who is vegan or doesn't want to use stuff like that, there are plenty of options you can look online to find and different accessories you can add that will have the same effect. Keys, gears, if it's steampunk, all sorts of things. So you figure out where you want to put it. I always figure out where I want to put something first before I add the glue. That way it's a little easier to figure out how it's going to go in and make sure you don't make a mistake. Like I said, it's okay if you do. You can cover it up, but it's easier to avoid the majority of them if you figure it out before you just put the glue on and decide to stick it. All right, this is already starting to look very soft, elegant, and pretty. I got a couple of these trailing down the back. It can either trail the back, or when you have it on your head, you can trail it down the front. It'll go wherever you want it, and it will be very movable, very pretty and soft. Couple flowers here, couple here. It's got a nice little twist at the top when you look at it like this. It's just a very delicate, feminine look. All right. So now you have the base pieces down. You have a start. And this is where I like to just kind of start looking where there might be bare spots or other pieces that you may or may not need to cover up. This is why I only put a couple of really big pieces on at first and not everywhere I want, because you don't want it to go, some of them you want to be a little more understated. So if you want it to be more understated, you only start with a couple pieces and then you put smaller things to cover up where you need it. That way you end up with the lighter, softer look that you're going for. If you want overstated, start with all the pieces you want and then fill in as needed, because it will end up huge, beautiful, and full, and you'll cover everything. Which again, it just depends on the look you're going for. So over here where I pulled up, there's a bunch of bare, so I will end up with some of these side by side, white/pink, to kind of soften that up and hide the parts that pulled out. You can see I'm already starting to hide the parts where there was some wig pulling apart. It's still very soft. And those parts are full. And now you just kind of look how you can kind of blend it so it looks a little better. If you want some more up here, maybe up here. I notice there's still a part right here, so I'm going to add another one right here. And kind of tuck that in there. Kind of step back. That's going to look really good. And kind of pull it more up here anyways. Flowers are starting to stick to each other a little. It happens. It's cool. Just kind of pull the petals apart. Stick it where it needs to go. And hold. So starting to feel like an aerobics video. Stick, place, and hold. Release, and again. Just kidding. That's looking really good. I like that placement. It's very pretty and feminine, which is what I'm going for. Let me decide, do I want to do a couple more and have it come all the way up under here? Actually, I really like that. It's still soft and understated. You still have a lot going. I can pop this little bit of hair out to kind of let it go up under it. I'm going to do that. This is where I love playing around. I know a lot of people think, oh, I have to have a direct look. I have to have a direction. I never do. I have a base line of what I want to happen or a base photo I want to go off. And then I just kind of let the creative juices flow and watch what happens. You'll stress yourself out a lot less in the long run by doing that. And you never know just how much more attractive or what kind of piece you can make by doing that. I like to believe that the piece and the materials have a voice. And if you listen, you'll both be happy. Kind of tuck a petal under so you keep that flow going. And hold. I'm going to grab another white one. I'm going to pick a nice big full one for underneath. It'll also help the hair kind of pop up a little. And push. And hold. Done. Kind of fan this out and do what you want with it. And this is where you just kind of style and do what you're doing with whatever wig you're working with. Kind of want something here coming out, so now I need to decide, do I want a soft little flower like this? And see what kind of medium I want to work with here. I could do something ridiculously cute and put a heart. It's a bit big for what I'm working with now. Oh, I have a smaller one. Let's see how I feel. It's cute. It's simple. It's very anime, but I don't think it's quite what I want to do right now. I like that jewel in there. It's just a subtle bit of shine peeking out, saying hi. Something to catch the light and just kind of subtly and beautifully say hi to the world. So I'm going to add the glue to it. I'm going to kind of pop it up and just tuck it in. And once again, we hold. Like I said, understated, pretty, a subtle bit of shine. You might not even really see it in the video, but there's a small little jewel here that if you see me around, you may have to take a kind of look to notice, but it will catch the light, it'll shine. It'll just be a little bit of an eye-catching attachment right there in the middle. I'm trying to get this to stay down again. And I feel like there's a hole here that just needs a little filling. Maybe tuck in another little white flower to kind of fill that void and just kind of peek out. Because I don't like how big the bristles are on this one. Oops, it fell. Just gonna kind of cut those down just a little. Just a little trim so that it doesn't affect how everything else lays. See how I kind of trimmed that down just slightly, but it's still there. Then I'm going to glue. Tuck these petals in because it's just a subtle peekaboo. It's not really supposed to push these out. I'm actually going to put a small drop of glue on the leaf on this one and settle it in. That way it stays back. It doesn't affect these. Oops! Not the sacred dance gourd! I'm going to add a little glue right here, kind of help pop that down a little too. A bit there. And this is the part where I'm molding. I'm just trying to get it to place where I want it to lay and how I want it to lay. Just a little glue. Another glue stick. I'm going to put a little glue on the edges here and kind of get it to just lay the way I want it to. And hold. I will fondle this wig. Fondle! Sorry. It's me. I can't help but be a spazzy goofball. There we go. Now that's starting to kind of open up and lay nicely and just spread its petals for everyone to see. I want this one to kind of lay down like this. There we go. Very nice, open, pretty flowers for the world to see. And kind of offset that purple on purple. I'm just going to tuck another pink little flower right here. And that kind of offsets it, makes this a more focal point and just a little bigger without being too much. I've got my flowers dangling. I've got some wig pieces showing here, but when this is removed, you'll be able to adjust and put the hair where you want it without it actually showing through when you're wearing it. It won't be too split. You won't really see much of the wig action going on here. You do, you can always pull some of this out a little and kind of bring it down and just pick it through. I see a little more barren spot here, so I'm going to add another white flower. then you can either pull these out, have it dangle over. For here, you can tuck it. I like having a couple of chain elements on it because it gives it a little more versatility, so it has a little different look every time you wear it. I need to tie this in a little. Excuse me, I'm going to add another pink flower right up under here just to kind of tie that in. Once again, because it's smaller and it's going to be tucked, I'm going to trim these little bristles down a little so they're not quite so obtrusive. Just kind of have it peekaboo out. Make sure this is out so it still can dangle. Oops. Oh well. And hold. Another white one up there. Actually going to leave the focal points big on this one since it's not hiding under anything. Put on the blue. And hold. There we go. Let's have a look. I've got one big piece right here that just kind of draws attention as things dangle. A nice little bit of fold, a little bit of hair work. And then over here, I've just got a soft little flowers over here, a couple coming up to the fall. Something to kind of glitter and catch the eye just for a second, make people go, what? Yeah, I think that is done because I still want to be able to hang this. Since there's not a lot going on at this end, and since there's not a lot going on over here, when I have it on and I put my wig in, I can dangle it from here without it being too much. Of course, it's in foam, so it's not going to go all the way in, but when you're wearing it, you can weave it in and kind of get it in there with your head and everything, just to the right point where you want it. There we go. Wait a second. Do I want it there, or do I want to stick it through up here? No, I think I'm going to stick it in up here. But because I'm not gluing it in, whenever I wear the wig, I have that versatility to change if I want it up here, if I want it out more, if I want it tucked behind the flowers, or if I want it on the other side to give this side more pop. Having little pieces you can pull it in and out and add versatility is always nice because it keeps the wig fresh for you for other uses and other things. If you want to add more pop, you can add more flowers. You could glue little rhinestones to it in different spots to kind of add some pizzazz and sparkle. I like using hot fix ones because you can take a hot fix wand, put it on, and just put it on and then hold it and it'll stay in place. It has the glue on the back. You can add them wherever you want. Say you want to hide that little line that is on wigs, you could always take a line of them, glue them all the way up, and then take, before you do that, I take a very thin chain, put it here, have a little jewel hanging from it, almost like a princess piece, and add some little rhinestones up there. Or you could just add some rhinestones for a little sparkle. And whatever color, either a matching color to the wig, so it's just a slight shimmer and sparkle as you turn your head that people notice, or a different color to just pop and pizzazz. But yeah, I really like this look. It's understated. It's what I want. Almost has a little heart sign going here. How cute. If you want a little more, you can always add them coming up. You can do endless amounts once you start gluing. If you want, you can have flowers falling down and just kind of glue it here. It'd do the same thing. You glue the base, you pull out the bit you want, you kind of stick it in, and you just hold it till the glue sets. And voila, you would have a flower sticking in the wig like it's falling down your hair. All right. Well, sorry if it was a little rocky. This is my first tutorial video. I'm sure we'll grow and learn together as we go, but I hope this really kind of helped you guys see some of the different versatile things you can do with wigs. And kind of see how I've been doing it, because I've got a lot of comments on my wigs. Certain particular conquestors in general, you know who you are, always commenting on my wigs. So yeah, this is how I've been doing it, and you can do it too. When I decide to do other wigs, maybe I know I want to do a Christmas wig or some of my other wigs, I'll make sure I make a video and just kind of walk you through some of the parts and just kind of let you watch as I'm doing it to kind of get a feel for what I'm doing and make your own amazing creations. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.